Good morning. Good morning, ladies. How are you?
Hello.
Oh, look who we have.
I gotta take a moment to take in all this beauty.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Sit down,
This is
hands
a good day. Okay, this is a beautiful day. This is how to start it off right here.
Yes.
This is better than vitamin D.
Okay. Well, hello and welcome. In our midst, we have a guest sitting for Giselle. He is a mental health therapist, inspirational speaker, and award-winning social entrepreneur, Pernell Bush. Tell our viewers a little bit about you, handsome.
Definitely. First of all, I want to tell you guys, thank you so much for letting me join you today.
Okay.
As stated, my name is Pernell Bush. I'm the managing partner of Key Counseling Solutions. Key is an acronym that stands for Knowledge Empowers You Counseling Solutions. And I'm also the president and CEO of No Limit Health and Education, a 501c3 that's dedicated to promoting mental health wellness. So, I'm just happy to be a part of this conversation today.
We are happy to have you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's also a veteran.
Yeah,
Forgot that part.
I'll never forget that. I am a United States Marine.
Yes.
Thank you for your
service.
All right, and we are excited to have your input about, what we are talking about today. So come on, take the ride with us. So we'll start with this one here. Ronnie O'Neal found guilty for double murder and attempted murder. I watched him questioning his son, and my heart was broken. For a father or for a boy to be facing his son, who's now 11 years old, that testimony was just heartbreaking. And I said, God, what is going on in this world? But this is what's going on. He's representing himself, by the way.
Well, and we see how he represented himself, right? And so you get what you pay for, number one. But beyond that, just look at this. Having a mental health therapist here is so critical.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we're going to be able to really talk through some of the things that we're seeing today. This is just such a sad story. It's so sad. He was convicted of murder, first-degree murder of his girlfriend or his girlfriend. She was 33 years old, Kenyatta Barron, their 9-year-old disabled daughter. I don't even know how to. It's just so clear that this is a very disturbed person.
Yeah.
And just the idea that not only did he kill them, but he also was convicted of attempted murder of his son, like you said, and then also arson of their home, which is in Riverview, which is not too far away from Orlando. So it's just the idea that somebody could be so disturbed that they would go to that length to murder their family, who should be their safe place. It's unconscionable for a father to do something like this.
It's so much to unwrap, and I am glad that you're here because when I watched it, all I could think of is why did they allow this testimony? Why did they allow this young boy to have to face him, to re-traumatize him? Like, that's years of trauma to unpack, to put him in that type of position where he had to face him. And then the callousness of the father to say, how have you been?
Right.
Like he was on vacation.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was no big deal.
I'm not gonna lie. This story truly bothered me to my soul. I remember when people were sharing it at first on social media. Everything gets shared on social media. And it really, truly shook me. Being a father, being someone that, for us, just as parents in general, we want to protect our children, we want to protect our family. And to think that this individual went to this length. But also, I have to step back as a mental health professional and think about where there's probably signs and symptoms somewhere in his timeline of life that were probably looked over, or there wasn't access to the proper services. Because a lot of times our services are so over inundated with clients, the proper providers are not there. So people just get pushed through. But I got angry too now. I went through a whole grieving process because I got angry because I'm looking at this trial and I'm hearing him talk to his son who he stabbed.
Burnt.
And burnt. And his son has to relive this, talk with him about it. It's different when you have to tell a police officer or maybe another attorney, but when you have to look at the individual that actually did this act to you, like this young man, I hope that they have the proper services in place for him.
But the good news about it is the cop who was called to the house that day, who carried his sister, you know, I think is the one who adopted him.
Yeah.
So, and he said when he was asked how he felt about that whole situation, he said, I couldn't do anything. All I could do was cry. But for him to even think about adopting him, I think that was a good thing. And I think he's going to get great services.
Definitely. And, you know, so even think about the first responders that showed up to that. You know, so as a mental health therapist as well, I do a lot of PTSD training for first responders, for firefighters, and police officers. Because a lot of times, you know, they're the first ones on the scene. Even I do it for 911 operators. Think about it. They get a call, somebody screaming in the background.
Right.
But you walk up to a scene, you see something horrific as this. House on fire. He said, I remember one of the firefighters or one of the police officers tested me and said he walked into the house, couldn't see what he was walking on, but it felt slippery. And it was the blood of the family.
That's
Katrina, real quick, do you want to say something?
Yeah.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Okay.
No, it's good.
So
It's good.
I think we will revisit this, and we are so grateful to have you here because just hearing your side of the story, the way we would have dissected it is totally different from hearing your opinion. So we are happy you're here. But we have another case of a mental case coming up, and this one is Ivory Coast ex-president returns home after ICC's acquittal. So this is Africa.
Okay.
And I am an African girl, and you know, we hear these things about presidents. This is one person who wanted to hold on to power. So he held on to power. He was in power for 11 years.
Yep.
But now he didn't want to. He just didn't want to leave.
He didn't want to transfer power, huh?
No, he didn't want to.
it
does.
Somebody didn't want to transfer power once upon a time.
Still don't want to.
You have to tell me, the ICC is the International Criminal Court.
Yes.
Yeah, and he has been in jail for 10 years. And the reason I'm like, well, why don't they do this here? I can say something about, you know, your country. It may be unfair, but when people do crimes, even when it's presidents and things like that, they usually take him to jail or do something. This man is 76 years old, so he's been in jail since for 10 years. But it happened in 2000 when he didn't want to give away power, and almost 3,000 people died because of that. And he said he's happy to be home. Some people are happy, but I think the current president was like, I ain't making no statements because he still should be in jail. But you know what?
But the current president is the one who invited him back home. He had
I thought it was okay, but that's
yeah. So the current president invited him back home, so he's back home now. I think, you know, if I'm correct, it's the current president.
Oh, okay.
But I think the reason he invited him is, yes, he is. People make mistakes, but this is a different type of case because sometimes when we are in Africa, we forget about what the presidents have done. I'm not saying they're not supposed to be put in jail for what they did wrong. If you do wrong, yes,
you're supposed to be put in jail, president.
But I think the reason why this now president said you can come back home if that's his home. That's what he has known.
Right.
He was born there. He fought for this country. You know what I mean? He gave so much to this country. You have saved your time. You have saved 10 years, but now you can be free, retire, and come die home. You know, so yeah, I'm glad.
I guess that's what it is. Well, hey, it's 10 years, and people are happy to see him because they said the airport was packed, and there were thousands of people in the streets that were happy to see him. But at least y'all put people in jail.
Yeah, but I'm about to say, at least he served his time. He served his time.
Yes.
Does that happen here? I don't
That's
know.
what I just
Well, you are still trying. You are
At least
still
they
trying.
put people in jail.
Right.
You're still
don't
trying
do
to
that.
put one in jail. I hope you do.
don't
But
think
I'm going to mention this one quickly. The aim is they are actually allowing actresses and actor winners to be called performers, the Television Academy announced. So they're no longer having actor, actress. You can even change it on your, I think it's
On your little tag.
on your tag and everything. So I think we are excited about that. So go Amy's, but we need more black representation there. So up next is What's Brewing. Stay tuned.
My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring.
Juneteenth is all about understanding, honoring, and sharing the stories of Black freedom in America. It's our way of being patriotic for the culture. Traditionally, The day is a celebration of freedom and the due right for its fulfillment. But in 2021, how do we measure the realization of Juneteenth, of what it means to be free? Is it in the titles we've earned, the number of homes we own, the laws passed, or the innocent lives that have been lost? For me, I know that I'm my ancestors' wildest dream come true. And Juneteenth represents an abundant commemoration of the richness of the Black American culture and the indelible spirit of generations past. Our stories, our dances, our foods, our fashion, and our music.
Hello and welcome back. Talking about mental health, this is what Usher did to T-Pain, and I think he needs a therapist because he put him in depression, saying that he messed up music with autotune. I haven't heard about T-Pain in a long time, so for this story to come out, I'm like, are you coming out with a new song? But
I think he has new music.
I hope he does. T-Pain is always a bop. I mean, I'm proud of him. I like all of his music. I don't think that he messed up music. I think he transformed music.
Right.
And if anybody messed up music, it would be the people who tried to do what he did and weren't able to meet the mark. You know, because T-Pain, alcohol, that I mean, you know, there's so many songs that we can attribute to this man's his
which
genius.
one is alcohol?
Yeah, you know, I think.
I don't listen to
So,
that music.
you know, I feel bad that he felt like, you know, his career was in this dark hole because one of the biggest stars in the game is telling you that you messed things up.
For
Like,
real
that's a lot of weight on you.
Yeah.
So I can see how he would fall into a depression over that.
And that's why it's so important to watch what you say to people, because you can speak the truth, but are you speaking the truth with compassion? You know what I mean? There's a difference. And for him to take it that literally, like you said, he's from a huge star, international star. He took that pretty hard. Compassion goes a long way. I heard something and it says honesty without compassion is cruelty, and honesty without empathy is brutality. You know what I mean? So you can still deliver a harsh message, but it's how.
I think he was nice to him.
How you
he was nice.
he didn't explain. No,
He
didn't explain.
No, he said, listen, you're my, no, I'm just saying, I read the article, I'm quite sure.
Yeah.
He said, you're my friend, but he said, I want to tell you something.
Yes.
Right, but he didn't
And he
explain
said, you
why.
effed up music.
But he didn't. I think if he explained
I think he did it out of jealousy.
I think
I'll
what
be
really
honest.
hurt him was when Jay-Z had a song and put Death of Auto-Tune.
Deaf auto-tunes, right. So there was a lot of
But
text
anyway,
coming his way.
I like
But
T-Pain.
explain why.
North
Why
Florida
is a
boy.
big one?
So you got to think about this, right? I hear the statement just say, you know, talk with compassion, but that's in a perfect world. We're not gonna get that all the time.
Come on.
Because even with, you know, I think when Usher came to him, from what my understanding, they were on a plane together.
All right.
Usher had him come up front like, hey, look, you effed up music. You effed it up for real things. Now, I don't know how that was said in the context, how it was delivered. However, mental health, let's get the first definition of mental health. Mental health is your social, emotional, and psychological well-being. So it impacts the way that we think, act, and feel about certain situations. So T-Pain said he was sent into a 4-year depression.
4 years.
4-year depression.
I mean,
That's a lot.
That's a long time. So now we have to see how we look at depression as well. First and foremost, it could have been reoccurring episodes. So it doesn't mean like for 4 straight years he was just depressed. It could have been just feeling depressed or clinical depression. So with clinical depression, which is major depressive disorder, it has to be something that's been persistent for 2 or more weeks and have out of the criteria of 9 meet about 5 of those things out of the criteria, such as loss of appetite, oversleep or undersleeping, lost pleasure in things that used to bring you pleasure. So when I heard T-Pain, because he even came back and spoke about this, like he went into episodes of having like recurring depressive feelings and thoughts, and you know, this is his heroes, people that he respects. Like anytime, if somebody in our profession may come to us sometimes and say something to us, it may, especially if it's not something we want to hear.
Right.
It may have you feel a certain type of way.
You're right.
Right?
Wow.
So when it comes to any type of mental health, like I tell all my clients, you know, we don't live in a perfect world, right? Ultimately, I want to get all my clients to a place of functionality, where they can perform at a healthy baseline in their personal and professional life, where whatever they may be experiencing, because we all experience mental health distress.
Yes.
So I don't think he went through a distressful moment over those 4 years, but he was still able to be functional. He didn't go into a vegetated state.
Okay. Well, T-Pain,
That's
then you
different.
just had a session for
whole session for free.
honey.
Listen.
Get some help and men up. Okay, we need some new music from you.
Wait a minute. We got to call. Wait now. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on.
What you gotta say about that,
we gotta
Pernell?
come back. We have a whole conversation about that. See, that's something that also hurt men. That man up.
Oh,
I'm glad that you felt your emotions, T-Pain. I'm glad that you felt those.
Okay, let me take it back.
good.
T-Pain,
Yes.
I am so glad you felt your emotions. You just got a free session on this table today. We are waiting for some new music from you. Let's move on to another type of mental health.
Oh,
Safari,
Lord. Okay.
who is saying that he's starting a
That's good.
bleaching journey.
Yeah.
Listen, Safari, this hurt us, the chocolate sisters, because, you know, we loved you because of your chocolateness. But if you bleach, I don't know who's going to be with you, hon.
You know what? All I can say is this is an opportunity.
And that's your brother.
I mean, no, I gotta break it down for no.
You from Jamaica?
So here's the thing about it, and it sickens me, and it's an embarrassment, right? Because usually the people in Jamaica that bleach is the dance hall scene. So you don't find people that are working. You don't find normal, maybe normal is not the right word, but you don't find those type of people.
Everyday people.
Like you have Vibe Cartel. He bleached from your color.
Oh my
like
God, Vibe
lighter
Cartel looks
than me,
horrible. I don't
right?
know what bleaching cream
And
he was using.
in Jamaica, there's this thing called soap cap. So a soap cap is another way of bleaching. So inside the soap cap is like peroxide, and they mix their own things, and then you bathe with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because
That
you need to
is-
be one. You need to be
yeah,
one color.
and that's
You don't need to
mental,
be two-tone.
and that's mental
That's
health.
mental.
But the dance hall scene in Jamaica, they feel like if you're lighter, then you have more exposure, and that's why Spice did it too. And
But
she
I
spoke
think
about
also
it. I
this
think he's
thing
just-
it's rooting from the colorism that Jamaicans have. In Jamaica,
everybody
when
has
you
everyone.
are everybody
It's not
has
just
colorism.
Jamaica.
Black
Yeah.
people have,
Yeah.
because like you said,
Yeah.
Spice actually was bleaching
Yeah.
too. My country, because men have always considered dark-skinned women ugly, so they bleach to become light-skinned. And when you see them, how they look now, you're like, okay. So they normally end with those little things around their
black-
chins.
and
And
the black
then we
spots,
call them,
too.
I've come to stay.
Raccoon.
You know, yeah, we call them I've come to stay because they don't go anyway.
Yeah.
But I think this is going to, this
The
is
knuckles
something,
too.
the knuckles don't
The
they don't
knuckles
get
don't bleach.
lighter.
Yeah.
So for Safari, who came up with, I don't know if it's coconut oil line, to end up coming up saying to people, and he was praising this coconut oil, and now all of a sudden the coconut oil is not working for
You think
you,
he's doing
and
this
you.
for
Yeah,
just
his
you think
attention.
he's doing publicity?
His attention.
Yeah.
This is
His
the wrong type
ex-wife
of
or estranged
attention.
ex-wife is
getting
pregnant,
ready- yeah.
and he's not allowed to be in the delivery room. Like, there's a lot going on there. So
Yeah.
I just,
I think he needs attention too. I don't know if he really
I
wants
can't
to
with
do
this
it.
one.
Yeah.
But like you said, you guys
I
said,
mean-
you know, it could be so many different life things that are triggering to this. You know,
Yeah.
it could be pressure on our appearance as a society. A lot of times,
Yeah.
appearance may want you to think you have to look a certain way to be successful, or it could be the life things that's going on with his wife. In a lot of things in our mental health, it's already predisposed. It's our lived experiences that's like it pulls the trigger. So your mind is already loaded with a lot of these things, and then the experience pulls the trigger and makes you act on these type of things here. When I hear that type of stuff, I think the first thing comes to mind is body dysmorphia. You know, so that's a diagnosis to where if you don't like something about yourself in such a way, like every time you look in the mirror, like if I look in the mirror, like, oh, my love handles. Oh, my love handles. I got to get rid of these love handles. And then even when I started to work on it, still like I want to continue to do something about that. It's a form of could be a form of a diagnosis there, but I'm not saying that's what he has. I can't say that without a proper assessment. But what I do want to hear what you guys, everybody said something right. It could be either be publicity, it could be pressure of what society think, or it could just be a life experience. We as human beings all have emotions, but those emotions are triggered by lived experience.
Yes.
And there's a range.
Yeah.
There's
I
a
think he
range.
has a dose of I want some attention.
Yeah.
That's what I think he has. He may have some mental problems too. I don't look at reality TV anymore, but he got a dose of y'all please talk about me, and we're talking about it.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Well, Safari, I wish you all the best. I am glad I did not pull the trigger when I was growing up because I got the most cruel comments with my skin complexion. But I'm glad I'm still here and I love my blackness. Up next is Style Check. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm CANDICE DIEHL from the talk show Point of View. And Juneteenth means a lot to me, but more than anything else, because I am of Jamaican descent, it means a time in our country where we can educate those that don't know about slavery. Yes, there's still a lot of Americans around this world, around this country, that don't know what slavery is. So Juneteenth is the ability to start a conversation, not to just end it, so that in a world today where we're asking for love and peace, it can be diversified. The fact that it's a federal holiday means everything to me as a black woman. So when you ask me what Juneteenth is, it's a day of pride, it's a day of celebration, and it's a day of education as well.
Hello, my name is CHIHOMBORI, host on Point of View. What does Juneteenth mean to me? Juneteenth means hope. Hope that one day my 3 black boys are not going to be judged by the color of their skin. Hope that one day my 3 black boys are not going to face police brutality. Hope that one day my 3 black boys will walk free because America is the land of the free. Thank you.
Hello, my name is James John. I'm the host of The Lowdown right here on Afro. Juneteenth is special because it's the day that the government officially recognized that all men were created equal and black men were truly free. We must never forget the blood, the tears, the sacrifice made by those that came before us so we can enjoy the thing we call freedom today. Now, we know everything in this country isn't perfect, but Juneteenth serves as the hope that one day they will be. Thank you.
Hello and welcome back. You can have anything you want in life if you dress for it. And I am leaving for this 4 ready-to-wear Alexander McQueen. Katrina, take it out.
Yes, thank you, darling. Yes, I adore Alexander McQueen. If you don't know who he is, I'm not going to go into his story, but anyway, the lady that took over him, she's doing a really good job in being authentic to who he was. So let's talk about the fall 2021 looks. Let's go get into it. The first one, a black gown with this bold flower, and the model is just gorgeous. I don't know if I like the length of the gown, but just because it's Alexander McQueen, I probably would wear it just because. But I do love the flower.
I like the
love the
length
flower.
of the gown because you can show your shoes. That's the whole point.
Well, if you have on
like
shoes
your
like
shoes
you
like
have
that,
on today, then that's a different story.
So I love
love
this
it.
gown. It's
I love
so
it too.
simple and beautiful.
Yes.
It is.
Yes. I like the simplicity of it. And the flower placement just makes the whole gown, like, stand out. I don't like the length per se. I know
I would
Erica
like it a
wants
little
to
longer.
show the
Yeah.
shoes because we are both shoe queens, but I don't like the
Y'all
length
are.
of the gown.
All
But I
right.
like the placement of the flower.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
gorgeous.
another one in this collection is it's a motorcycle jacket, and if you love Alexander McQueen, you know this is something that he does and has done it for a while. But this jacket, I think, will stand the test of time. It has a belt to it, so they're doing motorcycle fancy.
I love
And
this.
I love the cream bottom with all the volume.
Yes.
You know, even if you are a bigger girl, you can probably wear this because it already has so much volume and you're already wide at the bottom. Girl, just wear it.
Yeah,
It's
I love
Alexander
her
McQueen.
motorcycle
Just wear it.
jacket.
Yeah, this is
you
beautiful.
can dress it up, dress it down, put on jeans, put on pants.
Put
just
on a skirt.
have
What do you
fun
think?
with it.
Yeah, Pernell.
a
And that
full
handbag
dress.
is beautiful too. Let's not
Leather-
forget about
and
that little
leather is-
bucket
So,
handbag.
so
makes
for
us
me, the
feel
first thing I
good.
went to on both these outfits were the shoes.
The shoes.
Yeah,
What
I
do you
went down to.
think?
So
Okay.
that's the first thing I went down to because I'm like, I appreciate the length. Then I'm trying to understand the function, I guess the context around it. Because the shoes, I'm like, well, the shoes just keep catching my
That was a
attention.
good analysis.
Such a man.
It's functional. It's functional.
Yeah, right.
Much more
right.
functional than the ones I have.
Yeah, but those are pretty though.
But those are pretty.
And then, all right,
Right.
so this is a different twist to a suit. They just wanted to add some puffiness and volume to the sleeve, almost kind of like a Mad Max thing going on. So they watch some old movies to kind of bring this back. You know, it's that futuristic thing. You know, if you've seen a futuristic movie,
I have. I just don't like this.
Yeah.
It's like a bomber jacket and
a suit.
All
mixed
going
into
on.
one.
There's a lot
It
going
is
on.
so
there.
cool.
But I would
the
wear
right
this.
personality could do it.
Oh my
Yeah.
God! Look how those pants fit. Those
I
pants
can see
are
that.
perfect.
Yeah.
I would wear this, honey, and I walk in the building like
You would
I'm
wear it
here.
out. Yeah.
I like
know.
the tailored. I like the
Me
tailored
too.
part of the vest. The tailored looks amazing. But I would definitely cut that arm off.
I'll
I
I'll
wouldn't.
cut it off
I
so
would
you
cut
read
the
my
arm off.
mind.
She looks like a
Yeah.
Barbie.
Yeah, but you
I
know,
love it.
Yeah, but with Alexander McQueen, you never know that those sleeves
Can
may be
zip off.
detachable
You're right.
because they do stuff
Yeah.
like that.
If they're detachable, I'll take
Yeah,
it.
maybe
because
I
I
would
wear
too,
the vest
Kaya. I'm with
sometimes.
you.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm wearing it just like this. I'm coming in like that. I'm here. Anyway, our last one. That denim patchwork in a dress. Now this gave me that little.
Oh, that's cute.
You can rock it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
It gives
cute.
me
You
kind of
can
a
have-
Hunger Game look.
Yes.
Hunger Games. Yeah, that's
Hunger
what-
Games.
That's
That those edges at the bottom. Now this is where if you are from the South and you had sanctified family members, this what they wore. No, I'm serious.
And this is what they wear, not wore.
Lord, this
What
what
they
they wear.
wear.
Thank you for the correction.
Yeah.
So is this a Southern look?
No, I'm just saying when you have aunties and stuff that
Don't
are
put that on us.
sanctified
Don't
and
put that on us.
everything. I'm from the South. Just like Erica made a correction. I thank you for the correction. This is what they wear, honey. And they wear this now. All of their denim skirts this length, and sometimes they're longer. And this is what they wear. But so they have some new stuff. Girl, y'all need to go ahead and get some Alexander McQueen. Might as well if you're going to look like that.
Church
do
will make
designer.
it fashion.
Yes. Because I tell them, I'm a church lady, honey, but I don't dress like that. But I will wear that, though. But anyway.
That's the South.
Are you gonna wear it because it's Alexander McQueen?
Yeah.
I
Hey, all right, that is-
You
listen,
might have to
that's-
write it
that's-
on it.
that's
People
the
gonna
real
be like,
question.
what are you
But
wearing?
you know,
That's the real question.
I have a thing with designers. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
I don't have to wear it all over me because
Yeah.
if you know, you know.
You know.
When you have like Manolo Blahnik, it doesn't have everything everywhere, but a person can look at you and it's like, oh, those cute Manolos. I can.
Yeah, because we
But
saw
that's
them
you
on
'cause
Sex
they're
and the
fashion.
City.
No.
What woman
Yeah.
didn't watch Sex and the City?
Oh, whatever. Anyway,
You
we're gonna
became
move
a
on.
Manolo Blahnik fan.
Because
because
of Sex and the
Sex and the
City.
Oh, with me, it was because of Sex and the City.
Thank you.
Because I thought it was the
No,
shoe
it
in
wasn't
Sex and the
the-
City.
Which character do you
Look,
identify
Sex
with?
and
That's
City
the
had
real
me
question.
looking like a bag lady.
we're
I was
not talking
trying
about
to
that.
We ain't doing characters right now?
No,
We ain't
no,
doing
we
characters?
don't.
Okay. All right.
We can talk about that off the set. Let me tell you what he said. Pernell was like, what character you identify with? We're not
In
talking
Sex
about
and
that
the
right. We're going to move on to rate the look.
Carrie.
So this is
I have to
fun.
think.
And I already told Pernell he has his board right here.
Yeah.
He's going to write his numbers down, 1 through 10, happy face, not face, you know, whatever he feels like. So this is, I designed 8. She is in a nude look. I mean, halter top. I mean, that looks like her skin. That girl looks good. I'm giving her a number of a 10 because I love this. She did that. And her box braids.
I'm trying to get this
10
right.
for Erica.
That's a
10 with
10.
that heart.
got
Oh, a 9. We
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
know why you gave her a 9.
So I gave her a 9 because once again, I go straight to the feet. I can barely see the shoes, you know. So I love.
You a
I-
shoe man.
I
You
am.
like
I
that.
am. Listen, look, they gotta have the right type of
foot
heels
man.
and with the right outfit. I love that. So I went straight down to the heels. I'll give her a 9.
Right.
Well, you don't like us because we all wear beautiful shoes over here, honey.
I like that. I don't
I'm
I'll give it a
excited
10.
to be here now.
Okay. All right, what you gave her?
I give it a 10. I
Give
think
it
she
10.
looks amazing.
All right, well, we're going to go on to Amarion. You know, he does his thing now. You know, I like this little leopard print shirt he got on. I do. Some ripped jeans. His hair looks great. And he's aging well.
Yeah.
So I think he looks good.
I'll
A
give
little
him
casual
6
look,
for
okay.
liking him. I like him as a
Yeah.
person. I actually truly adore him. But I don't
you don't
like
like
the
that
sloppy look. I'm a very clean cut. I want
you're
my man to
she's
wear
so uppity.
clean. So I'll give him 6 for the fact that I like him.
Yeah.
8.5.
Yeah.
That's valid.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love this.
10.
I love the comfort of it. I love the shirt. To me, it's just sexy. There's something about a grunge
Like an
look.
Asian old man.
If you can wear it right. I love it.
Come again?
I love
He
it.
does. He looks like an Asian old man.
I gave him a 7 for I like the pop of color. I like the boldness of wearing the leopard. I am okay with the jeans maybe, but they look like they need to be washed. They look like they stink.
But you know they're
And
made
they're
like
probably
that.
smells like jasmine and lavender on the top, and he looks like he stinks on the bottom.
See, and you have 8.5.
So I gave you 8.5. Once, I guess I'm kind of jealous because we want to pull off styles like that.
Oh, you can't do that, big.
That's what I'm saying. I can't do it. So I kind of took off a point and a half of my jealousy right there. But overall, I like that he looks very comfortable. Like he's comfortable in the skin, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, he's owning it.
And at least you were honest.
And he has a leg up, honey, like the girls do it. That's a story for another
leg
day.
up.
Oh,
Yeah.
so he wanted to look slimmer.
Yeah.
'Cause that's what that means. No, when you,
what is-
no,
what is
yeah,
a leg up?
When you have
take
your
pictures
leg
and
like
stuff,
that?
you go up a little bit and it makes you look slimmer.
It elongates.
You gotta,
you.
yeah, elongate.
Now we know.
Did not know
African
that.
girl, elongate, and she always helping me with my words. Girl,
Elongate.
yes, it
remember
does.
Y'all see,
Alrighty.
y'all see me with my leg up in the next pictures now.
That's a fashion tip.
I don't know if that's going to elongate you.
That's a fashion tip. No, do it. That's a
that.
fashion tip.
a fashion
All right, so our next
Yes.
young lady, she is in a teal blue feather top, printed leggings. But let me tell you, for me, what stole the show is that that's probably a Judith Lieber teddy bear handbag. That's what stole it for me. Everything else I can do without, but her handbag I won't. Yeah, I want that.
I'll give it a 5. I mean,
5.
the
You still thinking?
placement
I'm
of the
still thinking,
things.
yeah.
I couldn't. You can't tell what her shoes are. now,
Right.
So
No,
I don't
that's
know
what I'm saying. I was trying to think how that actually worked.
I don't know about those shoes.
We need a picture for the girl.
Yeah, you can't.
The bag gets a 10.
Yes.
The fit, no.
The feet, no.
I like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
I
like
should
roller
gotta-
skate. Like maybe to the rope. I don't.
Yeah, I don't like it either. No, I'm with you. I don't like it either.
All
It's
right.
Yeah, so I gave her a 4 because I don't know where the pants start with it.
where the shoes end. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I was thinking the same thing. I don't know about
Yeah,
that.
I gave her
All righty,
3.
so we're gonna go
It's
to
a
our
lot.
last one, Miss
It's a
Shayla
lot.
Janelle, and this is just some black women just being beautiful, and they look great in all of their
Baby.
Listen here, man.
Oh my.
Baby.
gosh.
But why is
Just-
the hair on the floor?
But you know, that's the
Yeah.
thing now. That's the thing now. A lot of girls are
Baby.
getting their braids to their ankles and
Yeah.
they're getting their braids to their feet. But this one, she still looks good, even though her hair is all the way down to the ground.
Okay. I
So
like
I'm
it.
giving a 10 for all of them. 10, 10, 10.
This just makes you feel
Come on,
good when you
Kaya,
look
Kaya.
at it. Come on, Taya.
I'll
Taya.
take it. Let's go,
Let's go on and get that perfect score. I mean, all of them look beautiful. Yeah.
Okay, to our viewers, this is peer pressure. I'm forced to do this.
Yes.
Look, each one of those styles, man, they all look gorgeous in it. And
Yeah.
each one stands out in the individual. You can tell about the individual personalities, too,
Yes.
so I'm loving it.
And then you see that purse. Y'all know I like that. Buy black. But anyway, I just had to put that in there. But that's all we have. Thank you, Pernell. You was such a good sport
Hey, listen,
in
I'm
our
enjoying
Rate
myself.
the Look and Style Check. But that's all we have, darling. And we will see you when we get back.
It is Men's Health Week, and all our men, we celebrate you. That's why today we have our lovely guest. So we are talking about domestic violence as a result of family conditioning, and would love for you to jump in first since you're the expert.
Definitely. So, domestic violence, we know that's a very sensitive subject for a lot of people. If you grow up in an environment where you see chaos, where you see violence, you most likely, you have a high probability of probably having those learned behaviors, right? But also on the opposite end, I kind of want to talk from a positive end. So say if you are someone that grew up in that type of environment, that's seen probably your mother or someone, a loved one, or even your father get abused in a domestic violence type relationship, this thing's called post-traumatic growth. So a lot of times people think of post-traumatic stress, but sometimes post-traumatic growth can have an individual go the exact opposite. The things that you see, it's like you don't want to repeat that. You don't want to pass that on to the lineage coming behind you. So domestic violence within itself is something that we all have to play a part in. And first and foremost, it takes the individual that's in it to speak up and recognize it. I have this acronym. I have a lot of acronyms. I'm a Marine, United States Marines. Everything is acronyms. The acronym is RAC, R-A-C. So rats on rats on rats.
Oh.
The R stands for recognize. So with anything that we're going through, whether it's personal, social, psychological, we have to recognize it. The A then is acknowledge it. Just because you recognize don't mean you acknowledge it, right? And once you acknowledge it, then the C is commit. Commit to a plan, commit to receiving the help that's necessary, commit to a direction of life that you're trying to go into.
That's good.
These are the things that we have to really take in consideration, especially when we're trying to break the cycle of domestic violence. You know, we have to look at what type of domestic violence, because all of it does not look the same.
Nope.
Right? You know, you may have financial, you may have physical. A lot of times we think about physical. You know, we have emotional. So let's recognize what type of domestic violence situation that may be in, and how can we.
Let's talk
The
about that
financial
now,
one. Let's
Yeah,
break
'cause
that
people
one down
don't really-
because I don't think people take that and make it a forefront
Yeah.
issue, and it is such a challenge for so many women to leave because they don't work or because the man has decided that I take care of all financial matters and I give you an allowance and you're stuck.
Yeah. So with the financial, once again, that could be a very quiet one a lot of times, because when we think about physical, we see it. We see the damages, you know, you feel the pain. But when someone say, hey, look, girl, you living a lovely life here. Why would you want to leave this man? Right?
Yeah.
You come home, everything taken care of, but not knowing that you may come home into an environment that's not conducive to your overall health.
Yeah.
So that financial piece is something that I think a lot of people are experiencing, but may not even recognize that they're going through it.
Yeah.
Right? For example, I had a male client of mine. He was in a situation such as that. His wife made more money than him. You know, so first he came in because he's just like, I need to work on my self-esteem. You know, but as we started really digging deep, and you know, hearing him talk about some of the experiences taking place within his household and how he actually felt during that time period, and felt like I can't move and walk on eggshells because if I do anything, you ever feel like you're walking on eggshells with somebody? That's a first indicator that maybe it may not be abusive, but maybe neglectful, right? So when I'm looking, he's like, man, I feel like I walk on eggshells. I'm afraid to really be truly who I am because I feel if I do something, she could just take everything away. Right? So men, women, we all experience domestic violence in some shape, form, or fashion. But that financial piece is something that I think we definitely have to make sure people are more aware of and know how to see the signs and symptoms of it.
I want to kind of just chime in a little bit. Being certified with Harbor House, what I see a lot advocating is a lot of people, also pets is huge. You have a lot of men and women that won't leave because they're not leaving their pets behind. It sounds so simple, but that's why they have the kennels. You know, some shelters, you can take your pet. That's why a lot of them now are opening up those kennels because they don't want that to be a deteriorating factor that says you're not going to leave because you don't. People hold them hostage.
That is weird.
Just they do with children.
I think that's an American thing.
You know?
I mean,
Well, you know, you don't love dogs.
no, it's not about loving dogs,
people,
but in an
that's their
African
children.
setting,
Yeah.
in an African here's the thing, because you know sometimes people think that you know you don't like pets, but it's just something I didn't grow up with. There are dogs in Africa, but we don't get attached to animals as people get attached here. So if I'm in a domestic violence situation, I'm not going to stay because of a pet. But again, I've never had a relationship with a pet, so I have to be mindful with what I say. So I will leave even if we bought the pet together, but it's because of my upbringing. I never was taught to be a person who has such a connection with a dog or a cat.
I've had friends who have had visitation with their dogs after they break up with somebody. Because it's that, I mean, if you get a dog as a puppy, that's a baby. And you know, you have to experience it to understand it. But I was not a dog person until I got my dog, and Milo is my heart, and he gets on my nerves. He is my reckless child.
And he's your heart?
Oh, but I love that dog. He's taken me through I understand why people.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I know why people I put so much money into that dog. We have been through life and death together. He took me through a really hard time. He was the only thing that I could hug and hold on to at one point. So I understand why people would do something like that.
Because it's hostage.
I get it. Because
Hostage.
my best friend this weekend, she had a little breakdown this weekend because her dog has been with her. Prince has been with her for 14 years. And, you know, she see her that she's getting a little older now. So that's why I can relate that she's getting a little older now. But so I definitely get it. But I do have a question for you, Pernell. Do you believe men are capable of healing themselves without the help of a woman.
Make sure do I believe that men are capable of healing themselves without the help of a woman?
Without the help of a woman.
Healing starts with you. You know, first and foremost, we have to recognize that we may need to go through healing. Because think about it, it's almost like you ever heard how they say if somebody's addicted to something, even if you see that they're addicted and you want them to get the help, sometimes they have to be ready themselves.
Yes,
so it's the same thing with healing. Although you may see a man in your life that you may recognize might need some healing, and you want to be in that space with them, and then you just feel like you're getting pushed and shunned away, right?
Yeah.
That healing process is something that we have to go through within ourselves first, and understand that healing looks different for us all.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things I tell people, respect my healing. Because oftentimes we
say one more time.
One more time. Say that again.
And not with your sexy
say
voice.
that again.
Say it with the voice.
Sexy voice.
The sexy voice.
Say it with your professional voice.
Listen,
Go ahead, say it again.
respect my healing.
Yes.
That's
Come
really
on.
something that we all have to recognize with anyone that we encounter.
Thank you.
Because have you ever encountered
Because
someone
we
that-
push people to, get it right.
Yes.
You sorry, get it right. Like, yes, respect.
I feel that.
Listen.
So when
Profound,
it comes
baby.
to that, when it comes to that, once that individual gets to a place of they have recognized their healing, they're going through work, they committed to the work, then they may be able to allow the individuals in their lives to be a part of that.
Honey, I'm saying that all day today.
Respect my healing.
Listen,
That's
the
great.
reason why that was so powerful to me,
My
I
healing.
hear a lot of people, my husband passed away in December, and I hear a lot of people telling me, you have to be strong for the kids. You have to start the healing. I said, start what? I lost my life partner. So even if I take 20 years, so now I'll have an answer. Even if I take 20 years, respect my healing.
Amen.
Yes.
That was
Did
very
that.
powerful.
Ooh, that was
Oh my
profound.
God.
You ain't gonna make me cry today, honey, because I ain't a crier at the
Oh,
table.
this one doesn't cry.
But I think I want you to touch
That's
on
good.
something I think that's really, really important, which is Stockholm Syndrome. And I don't think people understand how that works because it's easy to say this person is being abused. Just leave. Just leave.
Right.
I want you to break that down for the
So
viewers.
for those who aren't familiar with Stockholm Syndrome, that's capacity where someone's supposed to be like a kidnapper, and somehow the individual that's being kidnapped builds a bond with them, right? So think about it in intimate relationships. That's why I tell even with those that may be in a relationship that may not look healthy to you, and we can see it. Like, hey, girl, what you doing there? Well, why are you still with him? So it may be a commitment. Like, I love this person so much. It's something that I'm doing. Once I change, or if I just agree, everything will fix itself. So even that. So those type things are very important that we understand that, once again, rats on rats on rats. They have to recognize, they have to acknowledge, and they have to commit to their process of
So I
leaving
hear
that
you've got
situation.
some gifts.
Yes, we got a few gifts, you guys.
I love gifts,
Listen,
and you
you
come
know,
bearing
the thing
gifts.
is-
So we love you.
Listen, I
You
want
are
to tell
the
you thank you
best
guys
friend
so
of
much.
the
love
show.
gifts.
Okay, listen, can I come back?
Overwhelmingly, unanimously.
But listen,
Yes, you can.
But listen, so I bought you guys some No Limit Health and Education shirts. As I said, this is our 501c3 that our whole mission is to promote mental health wellness. So now you guys are part of the No Limit family. Just get out, talk with those in the community. Advocate for mental health wellness.
Yeah, it's important.
It is.
It's important.
It is.
The work you're doing is great.
So
It is great,
Working
especially
on
our
it.
black
Yes.
men, because I don't know
Yes.
why black men are scared of therapy. So we really appreciate you.
You got to think about this. If you walk into an office and,
These are awesome.
and you may not see someone that look like you, you may not think they'll identify with you. So a lot of times you don't feel like, why am I here? I have so many men that walk into my office like, oh, you my therapist? And at first they feel a little uncomfortable. Then when they walk in, they sit in the space with me and they're like, yo, this is what I needed.
Yeah.
They're open to being vulnerable now.
Wow.
And we need more men.
We need
like
more
you.
men.
Yeah.
We're gonna
More
definitely I'm
male
promoting, I'm trying to get them out there.
Yes, thank
Yes.
you so much. Up next is Girlfriend's Guide. Stay tuned.
Hey everybody, I'm Katrina Lee Jones, a co-host of Point of View on Afro TV. And the question is, what does Juneteenth mean to me? It means a delayed freedom. My ancestors were held in bondage for an extended period of time when they were supposed to be free. But now it means also we are working for freedom, we're striving for freedom, and we have perseverance like no other. That's what Juneteenth means to me.
It's Girlfriend's Guide, and we are talking about daddy issues, not with daddies and their daughters. This time we are talking about daddy issues, men and their daddies in their old age. Come on, Pernell, take us through.
Pernell, take us through.
So we talking about men and their fathers.
Yes.
Right? Come on,
Daddy
man.
issues
Listen,
in boys, men
because
who become
a lot of times
men.
that's a conversation that's never
girls,
talked
that's
about.
Never
We
talked
never
about.
talk about how a man can feel a certain way with their father,
Yep.
you know, or the lack of, and the experiences that they may have experienced with them, how they kind of transcend into their life. You know, a lot of things that we do as adults, it happens is because what happened between birth to 18 years old.
Yeah.
So if you're someone that has daddy issues, let's say first we identify what type of daddy issue you may have. Let's identify the wounds, just like you do if you go to a triage to a hospital. Let's identify the wounds. Let's identify the symptoms. Is it that you had that issue because your dad wasn't around, or was it that he didn't give you the affection that you thought that you desired? These things, once we understand and identify that, we're able to start the work, right? For myself, so I'm an extramarital fat child. So my father had me outside his marriage with my mother, right? So I remember growing up, my dad wasn't really around. And I tell people this to this day, like I don't hold anything against him because I see him trying, but my mom's one of the women, hey, no, I don't need you. That's a whole nother conversation.
A lot of us do. A lot of us do that.
And that's out of protection too.
Yeah, you know, but as a kid, you don't understand those things. All I seen as a child is that I wanted my dad there.
Right.
You know, and I get to see my other siblings, my other older brothers that got to spend time with my dad, and looking at the things that my biological father was doing for them, and you feel as if you're missing out on something. And that can cause a wound within anyone.
Yeah.
You know, so for me, it's like I didn't get the affection that I desired, right? Then I didn't get the affection that I desire. How now is that transcending into my personal life as an adult? You know, when we look at those type of things and say, okay, am I showing the same type of reaction with my own children? Maybe I'm even in intimate relationships. You know, am I more possessive of my mate because, yo, I need this affection because of the things that I experienced when I was a kid? Because those things may feel like abandonment.
Yeah.
A big thing that we go around and talk about now is adverse childhood experiences, ACEs.
You are giving us
What is
all
that?
of these clinical things today.
What is adverse?
So adverse childhood experiences are the things that you may have experienced between birth to 18 years old that are associated with abuse, neglect, or household dysfunction. So that study is pretty much saying that it is. That study is pretty much saying that what happened between birth to 18 can affect your life your life for the rest of the remainder.
I believe that.
But what age can that be reversed? Let's say, for example, for children, maybe their mother was in an abusive relationship and they're between the ages of maybe birth and let's say 5,
8.
and something traumatic happens and the mother moves out of that situation and you try to raise them the right way. How does that, is that reversible?
It's never reversible. However, you can create an environment that is more healthy, right? So those experiences there with us. You know, so it's just like anything, that experience is still with you. Now, say, like you say, the mother now recognize I have my children in a position that I don't ever want to experience again. I'm leaving this and put them in a more healthy environment. You know, that can help you start to develop more holistic self, but you still may hold on to what you experience, right?
At that age,
And
though?
still at that age.
So is childhood amnesia real then?
Is childhood amnesia? Yeah, so
Amnesia.
Yeah, so amnesia. So individuals that may forget certain parts of the childhood, that is real. But also, the reverse side of that, you may have a person that just really remembers that one moment, every little thing, right?
I know people like that.
Yeah.
I know people who have stayed with, you know, they don't eat certain things because they ate it so much as a child, and that's something that, you know, kind of keeps. But I mean something that's like really extreme, like. I don't know, maybe it's not extreme,
Bologna?
but if I ate bologna every day, or if I ate peanut butter every day because maybe your mom was making it, you know, just trying to make it, and you don't realize that this was your survival. But to you, it was harsh and cruel and awful and
Perspective is everything, right?
Perspective, yeah.
Think about it. As kids, we oftentimes don't know what's really going on in the adult world, but we have a world of our own.
Yes.
That's why I tell parents when I work, I'm like, why is they stressed? They're kids. They're human beings.
Right.
So although you as a parent may be doing your best not to feel like you're creating a stressful environment, they still may be getting stressed. They still may experience,
feel it.
Experience things that to you is like, it's not that bad, but to them it's detrimental.
Yeah.
You know, life is about perspective. like I'm working with two clients, they're sisters. They're a year apart, and they just have two very viewpoints about how they grew up. One is like, our life was great.
Yes.
I don't understand why she doesn't want to have a relationship with our dad, 1, 2, 3. And the other sister's like, it sucked. It was the most worst life experience, and they have, they might tell the same story, right? But the way they remember the story is different. The way they physically respond to the story is different. So that's what we got to say. That's the whole part of respect and healing.
That's good too, because it does stay with you. Because I remember when I was in middle school going to high school, and my mom was a single mom, and she didn't have money to buy school clothes for me. And that was detrimental for me.
Right.
Because listen, I had just won, best look or best fashion in 8th grade and all this stuff. So listen, I had something to upkeep. And it was detrimental to me that I didn't have clothes my first day of school. And I think I remember her doing maybe a week later when Kmart was around, and she went to Kmart, she got clothes. But my mom explained to me the reason why she didn't have money to buy me school clothes. And then when she explained it to me, I was like, oh, okay, no problem. She said, we're gonna have to get them a week later or something like that. But then that's when it started kicking in, like, okay, well, I can wear what I have, I can mix and match it, I can do all these things. And I still look better than a whole bunch of people, and I was wearing my old clothes. But I remember my mom being honest with me about the financial situation, and that's how I am with my children.
But for an eighth grader, I think your mind is now processing things differently. With me, I had a great relationship with my father. May his soul rest in peace. A great relationship. My father was everything to me. He was my hero. He was everything. So I never really experienced, anything traumatic. But I understand when people have a bad relationship with their dads. But with me, he was there for me. And the one thing that I remember from my childhood is the only time when he was late to pick me up from nursery school, which is daycare.
That could be detrimental.
And I was the only child, standing there. And I remember waiting and crying like, where's my dad? Every child is gone. And then then he used to drive the Land Rover. I saw the Land Rover coming. I was so excited. I went to meet the car. I didn't even wait for him to come. So every time, like even yesterday, Katrina and I were driving home, I get anxiety when I'm late to pick up my son. Because I'm like, and that experience just comes back to me. And I just think of the day I was waiting there. And when I'm driving, I say, Katrina, we gotta go. I don't want my son to be waiting for me.
And it's funny too, because I can identify with the sisters, because my dad treated me different from my brother, and now because my brother's in California and we don't get to see him a lot, the dynamics is different. In a Jamaican home, the boy is treated very differently. You know what I mean? He's expected to be the little man, and he's expected to do certain things, but you don't realize how it affects him later on.
Of course.
Right.
And
that's one thing when I work with, especially adolescents, one of the biggest things, the parents got to be a part of it as well. Because oftentimes I have parents bring their kids on, fix this kid. But I'm like,
you broke them.
Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the parenting. Let's talk like Katrina said, her mother did something so simple. Sat down with her and explained with her why she wanted to get in school. Because a lot of times we as adults, you just better listen. Right? You just better listen. But by her explaining, that'll help you come up with a plan. It helps you feel a lot better. So it's things that we can do, not only as adults, but also what we have to do with our kids as well. Just think about kids. Everything is catastrophic to me as well. The world is coming doom and gloom. One thing I do with my daughter, I have her at the end of each week, I have her write a gratitude, just 3 gratitudes.
How old is
she's
she?
grateful for? She's turning 10 in July, in a couple of weeks.
Double numbers.
Yeah, so I have her write down what she's grateful for. Because the thing about negative experiences, they stay with our bodies. When something bad happens, they hold on to them.
Man.
So it's called the body keeps score. So a lot of times with good things, you forget about it so quickly because it didn't really do anything physically to you. But those negative experiences, it stays with us. So we have to be very intentional about remembering the good. Because if not, you could be that person that say, my life sucked when at time I had just been that one moment, possibly, that now you just been holding on to for so long.
But you're judging your whole life on that one moment.
That's good.
Well, thank you for sharing. But before we go real quick, can you tell our viewers where they can find you?
Definitely. So on social medias, Facebook and LinkedIn, you can find me as Pernell Bush. On Instagram is the Juggernaut_therapist, very long. And then also you can find me at my website, which is www.keycounseling.solutions, and find out more about a nonprofit at nolimitempowerment.org.
Thank you so much, and thank you for coming to be with us
Thank you guys for having me again.
Amazing.
Listen, my day started off real good. I got some good makeup on. I got to around some beautiful women. I'm telling you, I'm going to go out to the world and just kind of, excuse me, miss, can I talk to you for a minute? I got to see how this makeup works.
That part.
Well, that's all we have for today's show, and thank you so much for joining us. Remember to leave love, and learn. Bye, y'all.
It's all you.